Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 678th episode of the Geek First podcast. I am the future Geek First Calling Cup winner, Trav Snell. 2 more days or a day later from this, it's happening, and I'm joined by.
I am the child's toy, Taylor Field.
What? Wait a second. You're telling me the whole time? Oh my god.
I just clued in now. You're not supposed
Kill
to bring
some-
it up. You're not
kill
supposed to
some
bring it up.
air.
You're supposed to casually just switch, and then no one ever knows. You gotta highlight the fact that your mic was in the wrong setting, make us look unprofessional. Oh my god, this guy. Now he's switching his mic over.
No.
Plug,
Two
unplug.
things. One, I brought up because the whole time we were
Happy days.
we talked before we went live. You could have said, "Oh, hey, something's wrong with your mic," and then your killing time is just talking about my bad mic. But yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are here. It's just myself and Taylor because Dylan is on his way to Kelowna because Extra Life is happening this Saturday. If people don't know, I'll talk about it a little bit again later. Just very quickly, we are trying to raise funds for BC Children's Hospital. It's our 9th annual stream. We stay for 24 hours. We start November 8th, 10 a.m. PST. A bunch of events. Please check it out. Please be there. This is the last cast before, so we would very much like it. I will shout out again in the spoilers in case someone skipped the beginning, but it's a very important day. And if you can't donate, it's completely fine. We'd love it if you can because all this goes towards surgeries, kids in needs, recovery, everything. The link is down below and you can read up upon it. But yeah, we'd very much like you to do that. And if you can't, that's fine. Just come share the link, be in the chat, spread it because if you can boost the video, it can get to people that maybe can donate. And yeah, we got to raise 1,500 USD and then we could be done. We would have raised $20,000 for the BC Children's Hospital in 9 years, which would be a great milestone for us. So we'd very much appreciate it. But yeah. Dylan is on the way to Kelowna, so he couldn't make it, and then Kirkland Patzer is on the way from Japan. So lots of geeks in the air on the road right now, Taylor. So we're holding it down. Hopefully that gives us advantage on Saturday. You know, Dylan will be a little tired from the road. Kirkland will be jet lagged. Hopefully we can pick the bones in the tournament. You know, what is this? Why
Look
do
at
you?
that.
What
I
do you
added the
do?
Extra Life link to the QR code and just popped in there so you can scan it with your app and go right to it.
Really?
Or scan it with your phone.
Can we do that on OBS on Saturday? You think?
I don't know. Here, I'm going to test it with my
Test-
Open Extra Life. And it goes right to Geek First there. That's freaking
He goes there and it just goes to
just Pornhub.
yeah. so we could probably add that on OBS, right?
We could add a custom QR code for sure as an overlay. Easy.
Okay, good. That's awesome. We definitely should because obviously there's so many links, and especially with other places, we'll be streaming on Twitter, Facebook, everything. So that is Saturday, but we very much appreciate if you could donate or come check out. It's our biggest event of the year, helping people out, and yeah, lots of good stuff's on the feed. If you like what we do here for Predator, you can go check out on the feed. We re-released all our Predator retros, so we reviewed every single Predator film. We reviewed the AVP series, so those are all there. And then also, if there's any big time Yacha fans out there that are into the comics and the lore, we did do a deep dive, you, myself, Kirkland, and Dylan, not on this review, we'll have to get their thoughts another time, but we did do a deep dive on Black Panther, Wolverine, and Spider-Man all versus Predator. Those were very fun comics, so check those out. That's the last episode in the feed. So yeah, lots of stuff. So yeah, I'm gonna throw to what is him laugh, but I've been talking for a bit. I'm gonna throw to him because I know that he loves his Predators. Don't know if I love this background because it just looks like it's I like the colors, but you can't tell it's a Predator. And if you don't see this as a Predator cast, I got a full screen this. Let me see him. Yeah, you can see a little bit. But what did you feel, Taylor, about this movie, Predator Badlands? Obviously, couple years ago we got Prey on Hulu that did very well. Dan Trachtenberg came back for this, and obviously Killer Killers, there's also a review of that you can check out. We did that this summer. But what are your feelings, non-spoilers of course, and then we'll take a break and get into spoilers, but what are your non-spoilers opinions on Predator Badlands?
Non-spoilers. Okay. Going in, the whole starting sequence of this movie, I was grinning like a son of a gun. I had the biggest smile on my face. I was eating everything that they were dishing out because we're seeing so much stuff that we've never gotten to see in live action before. It was so
This
juicy.
was Taylor.
Holy shit, I'm gonna come.
It was so fucking good. And I took my dad to this movie because I took my mom to the movies last night. Went and saw one battle after another, and so then
Too
tonight
bad
it
that
was my
didn't have the
dad.
same opening scene, you know? Come on, Yacha, get
Yeah,
hard, you know?
yeah. Waiting for Sean Penn to pop in this. Uh, so with this though, yeah, this is a great father-son story movie, I'd say for sure.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
sure.
but no, it was oh my god, a damn good time, and I just want to
No,
highlight
wait,
here the
are you talking about
fact
the opening or the whole movie? Because you said
the
the
whole movie
opening.
now, the
Okay,
whole movie
just
now
checking.
was just damn
Okay.
good time, but the beginning was just like top tier, top tier. But for sure, though, a lot of people were highlighting the fact that with Deck as a main character, like you worry about, okay, is he going to be humanized too much? And that was on my mind too. But like, it just there were points for a character as a Yautja when he's maybe acting or getting a little bit humanized, but then he reverts back to this basic, broad predator state of mind. Like this is the clan, this is their ideology, this is this, and I like that because then it kind of keeps him separate from a human being. I was more worried about Fanning's character actually, for a synthetic actually being maybe a little bit too human, but then I like how they weave that into the narrative, which we'll talk about and break down in spoilers. Um, on top of all of that, I think like PG-13. It kind of goes over your head because it's absolutely just riddled with violence and just like gore and action and everything, and it's so high octane. Everything is just crazy and fast. Like even my dad said, like there's not really a moment to slow down. It's good action, and he
Mhm.
really enjoyed it. And
And it's under 2 hours too, so
it's
that's
under
one
two
thing.
hours. Yeah.
One
So
thing to bring up before you continue, Superman Mike says, "Hey guys, can you talk about the subtitles are in the movie and non-spoiler section? Easy to read, a lot of them. I think definitely easy to read. They're just like regular yellow subtitles, and I think there's like." I don't. I think at the I would not say there's a lot. I don't think there's a lot. There's like a good amount, but I mean good amount as far as like mainstream action non-foreign films. Like I think that there's I don't. I'm trying to think of dialogue. If I was trying to think about the 100% of the dialogue, maybe 10, 15%, right? And I feel like that I might be overshooting it a little bit, but like it's tough because they do the Guardians thing where, and this isn't a big spoiler, but they do the Guardians thing where technically Elle Fanning's supposed to be speaking Yacha. What is it, Yaksha or Yacha
yeah,
or what?
yeah.
Yautja, but for us, we hear English the same way as like technically that's how they understand Groot is because like they can like when Chris Pratt talks to Groot, it's in his language, but for us, it's just English. So it's that, Mike. So I'd say like 15% really, but it's a pretty action heavy movie. What about you, Tay, on the subtitles? And am I wrong on that assessment, or what were
I
your
think I
thoughts?
think you're pretty spot on with it. I mean, me as a subtitles kind of person, like it never ever bothers me. Most of the time now when I'm watching movies, even though it's like the full movie is in English, I have subtitles on just because there's snippets of dialogue that I actually have overlooked and misheard, and when the subtitles come on, like sometimes it can be inaccurate, of course, the subtitles, but if it's like if for the most part, it's like, oh my god, like that actually makes sense. They're actually saying this word instead of this. Holy shit!
Hmm.
But I think that yes, the beginning is
I think it's a good equivalent,
fairly.
like the Apes
That's
movies.
that's a good
I think so.
equivalent.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's fairly heavy at the beginning, but the beginning is not that long of a sequence. And then once you get into it, yeah, how they explain that kind of dynamic with Fanning's character, kind of understanding him and how that kind of conversation pans forward, I really like
Hmm.
it. I think it's a good balance. And the best thing about subtitles is it keeps you much more engaged in the film that you're watching, right? Like you got to stay focused.
Hmm.
Anyone that had their phones out, which there was one guy who was looking to like checking out real estate on his phone in front of
Oh
us,
my
he put
god, I
his
had a
phone
couple.
down once the subtitles came in.
I'll wait to another cast to talk. But I had a guy that took out two seats and was laying down. I had a guy behind me that I think was on his phone the entire time. Luckily, he was on my peripheral, so it didn't bug me. Just anytime I adjusted or I looked back, he had like big headphones on, and he was, I think, on his phone. I was just like, I don't know why you came here. I don't understand.
Headphones.
And the guy's sleeping. It's like I don't know why you came here either. But yeah.
Jeez. But yeah, the all in all, I just think that people are going to go into this movie and yes, they had problems with the way this predator looks. They had problems with he's being like a kind of like a runt and all these different things in the PG-13. But I'm going to say it here, genuinely just give this movie a chance because it is a bit of an underdog story, but I think that they really hit it well. Again, like I said, the action is good. I really liked a lot of the comedic beats because it wasn't forced. It was just, it was new and it was fresh, and it's a very bold swing for a Predator. But um, there's a certain thing that me and my dad were talking about that I'll mention in the spoilers. Just him being a younger Predator, and his sense of ideology being much more open and adaptive instead of being embedded in a very archaic, clan centric old predator ideology. And I really like that, and I think that that really works in the favor of this as a predator character and how his story progresses. And I think it's a really good full circle story, and I can't wait to get into tying this in with Dan's other projects that he's done, and just how we can kind of see things forming together here. But that'll be a spoilers conversation. But all in all, go see this in theaters. If you have an IMAX theater nearby and they're only available in IMAX, you should go and see it in IMAX because the score is fantastic, the action
great,
sequences are good. Like, god damn, this is a really good big screen flick. So go watch it.
Yeah, I am very happy thanks to obviously they're just doing it for money, but I'm glad it's not like Prey where we have to watch this on at home, which is, still like watching movies at home, but I still like watching in big theater. I'm very sad we did not get the Prey double feature. I would have
Yeah.
been very much down to do that. But excuse me. Yeah, I think for me, yeah, I think this is really good. I think this is a okay, so I think this is a good movie. I think it's a really fun movie. I think it's not an issue, but I think what you talked about, the opening, I'll say it's a scene, but it's a longer, so I'll say opening sequence, the whole thing. I think that starts you at such a high that I don't think the movie ever gets back to that. And I think that was almost like it was a good thing because I was locked in, but the whole time I felt like once we got the title sequence, never got back to the height of that opening sequence. I thought that was great. Both, yeah, go on.
Don't interrupt. Did you find it weird? This isn't a spoiler. When you get that title card, it's like copyrighted Warner or
It
20th
was.
Century. It's like,
I
what
did
the
hated
fuck?
it. Hated it. Yeah, for non-spoilers with people when Taylor's talking about the Predator, it goes on nicely like 10, 12 minutes, something like that. A movie, the cold open, and then Predator Badlands, and it was literally like the logo, and then it was 20th Century Fox Cent or whatever 20th Century Studios presents and Predator Badlands and like copyright. Like it was super weird, and I just
So
thought like
weird.
it felt like a commercial. I because when that happened, it took me right out of it. I was like, imagine if I'm watching The Dark Knight and that was up there like presented by DC Studios copyright. It was like scrub that. I don't care. Like it was. I agree with you. Super odd when it happened. So that's a plus, I would say. Like, honestly, some of the opening stuff is up there with the first Predator. Because I have, like, a mixed relationship with the Predator franchise. Love that first one like everyone else. I do. I'm with Taylor. I'm a defender of Predators. I like that one a lot. And then I loved Prey. And I think that's where, and I even looked at it, it's the same writer. I don't know about Killers of Killers. Killers of Killers I really enjoyed. I will say, I think for the Dan movies, this is my bottom tier. Because for me, it's not so much, I don't have the problem about the Predator being too human. I think there's some aspects that get like a little there, but not enough to bug me. I think there's still enough of his clan and culture and differences that I see the Predator. Same thing with Elle Fanning as the android, where for me, I think Elle Fanning kills in this role. She's great. I'd even be down to give her like a Golden Geeks nom. For me, it's strictly the writing, and this movie was way too funny for me, especially with that opening we got. I'll just say the opening is it's a very dark opening and very serious, and it all depends on what you want in your blockbusters, because shout out to Cocktail Clay, who's already donated extra life, so thank you very much, Clay. But he's somebody that I think he's stressed lightly in some of these bigger movies. He doesn't want like just dread and really depressing stuff. He likes some jokes thrown in, some comedic beats. Lots of times I'm the opposite, where I'm down for the dread. I'm down just to like have the worst time ever. Now, I don't need that with everything, but I feel like how this movie starts, it's like, okay, it feels more, I feel like the opening of this movie feels way more like Prey, and then after we get the title sequence, it's something else. And not even Killers. I guess Killers did have, I think it was in that World War II segment, it had some comedy stuff. So I feel like it is kind of a hybrid of those two. I definitely prefer the Prey method where, and not just like the Yaksha, like everybody, there's just kind of comedy all around, and especially with the previews too, and fall like the Predator is the main character. I thought, okay, I could see there being some innocent humor, some things happen, but I thought there would be kind of moments of levity where there's full scenes and set pieces where there's just a lot of comedy going on. Like I'll just say there's like a campfire thing where I think if people are tired of the dynamic of badass hero with a kid, this movie does that again multiple times. And for me, I was like, ugh, like I didn't really want this. And that's what I mean. So Elle Fanning was good in the role, but a lot of the writing with her character, and that's where I'd say where a lot of the comedy comes from, I just was kind of over it, and I just didn't. It didn't make me laugh. Like there's a spot at the end where a creature does something with a body. I was like, okay, my theater was dead silent. So yeah, the humor honestly really brought it down. I don't think it was anything like it was bad jokes. It just kind of would check me out. It just felt way more, and I don't know if they did this on purpose because they knew they were going theatrical this time. Prey just felt like something really different, where this felt way more, okay, we got to try to appease the general audience a lot more. So, yeah, I enjoyed it. I agree too. There's some really great action sequences. I will say this is, in some ways, like a way better Alien versus. There's no xenomorph. There's no, like, I'm not even gonna try it. Like, I don't care if someone thinks it's a spoiler. I'm not trying to set up for you. I don't want you to be disappointed. But there's tons of Alien, Wayland Yutani, like universe building stuff here. I think like this builds the universe out better than both those AVP movies. So for me, yeah, I was. Okay, sorry. That's the. Is it raining where you are?
Oh, it's raining. I was like, is Madison showering really
Okay,
loudly
good.
right now?
Sorry, everybody. That's why I stopped, because I thought like, because for people who don't know where I podcast, it's like the dining area because I have no other room and the kitchen's there. So I thought, oh, Emily's doing something, but I kept going. But let me open up the balcony. Listen to this, folks. It's like hailing out there right now.
That's crazy.
So yeah, I think action's tons of fun. I think the world building, I think also we talked about, they're definitely going towards more just, even if it's not Alien versus Predator, just those two worlds being together. And I think that's great. The third act of this movie and some of that stuff is really cool. So no, I think this is just like a really fun movie. It's not one that I'll definitely rewatch it, but it's not like Prey, where when Prey ended, I was like, oh, let's go again. Like I could watch that right away, where this was like, okay, I will watch this again in the future, but I'm not running towards it. I think it did some good lore stuff. I think the third act is good, and I think even the ending of the movie is good. Even there's like a fun little tag there that's good. So I do want, and I like the character. You talk about the size and the differences. They do explain some of these things in the story, which I enjoy. So yeah, I like it. I recommend it if you are a Predator fan. I think obviously, like Taylor said, maybe, and I've even talked to seen some, I haven't talked to them, I've seen them, and I talked to one person that they are like big Predator fans, and maybe this is more lower rankings for X, Y, and Z. But I think as a Predator fan, you will still enjoy it overall for the most part. I could see someone not enjoying certain aspects. And then if you're not a Predator fan, like, would I recommend this? It depends where you are. If you're a big action fan, then sure. I think there's lots of fun action adventure. If you're not, and you're looking for like you like action movies, but you want them to be like top tier, like the Mad Maxes, then I'd say no. I don't think this is like a top tier one. This isn't anything, unlike a few categories I might talk about in Golden Geeks, but this isn't going to be like my top 20 or anything like that. So I think this was a fun movie, but not one I'm going to circle back to right away. And like I said, I think my biggest aspect was the pacing, and even though it's a shorter movie, there's even some scenes that it's not that they go on long. It just feels like someone will deliver a line or punchline, and they just sit there for a bit after. And it's not like a character reacting and going like you're seeing the emotion. It just feels like it doesn't cut. Like it's like small percentages of like 15 seconds, 10 seconds, but you probably could have got like 5 minutes shaved off this movie to help. So I think there is some pacing issues, and yeah, it's the same writer as Prey, so they just want to do something different this go around, I guess. And yeah, for me, this just, the humor didn't it did actively hurt this movie, but there's lots of like in it. So Tia, anything else non spoilers?
Ooh.
Thought I lost you in the storm there.
Yeah. Blown away. The whole circus blown away.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I think I don't really have anything. I think I highlighted it. I'm going to say it again. Go see this in theaters. It's a damn good time.
Okay, well, there you go. Well, we're going to go take an ad break, and then right after that, we'll talk about spoilers. So if you've not seen the movie, check it out. It'll be there sitting for you. Or if you don't care about spoilers, we'll be doing that. So we'll be right back. Whoa, I almost hit end and stream. We'll be right back. And we are back. And in case people did miss it, November 8th, 10 a.m. PST, 24 hours, charity stream. try and raise at least $1,500. We got more. We got stretch goals, but at least $1,500 because that can get us to $20,000 for BC Children's Hospital in 9 years. 7 events, tons of fun unlocks, guests, surprises. It's going to be a great time, especially people in the UK or Europe. Come in those moments. We'll be awake, so we would appreciate the support. So, yeah, Tia, let's start. Break down that opening for us. Let's start with the opening because this was a rocking good time there.
Yeah, so like we're, Yautja Prime. We haven't seen a Yautja Prime since Alien vs. Predator Requiem. Holy shit, I am so there. Actually, no, that's not true. Killer Killers, we got Yautja Prime.
I was gonna say, yeah, right.
What
was the Predator's planet then? Is that just some offshoot?
That was just
a
a game preserve, a hunting planet that they just drop people on. Yeah. So this intro was just fantastic. You got two brothers that are just duking out, battling, and Deck is basically gearing up to get ready for his first hunt, and he's facing off against his brother. And this is such an interesting dynamic, and I like this a lot because I think, okay, Deck as a character, he goes through a very just like powerful change in his hunt and his journey because of the characters that he interacts with, and I feel like him and his brother are very similar in some regards, but his brother is more indoctrinated in his clan's belief system and ideology. This guy, he thinks, okay, you got to do the hunt, this, and he's adopted those obligations to the clan. And so when the dad comes in, which is just super fucking cool, and the dad's like, oh, you're this Deck, you're the runt, you're the weakest link of our clan, we can't have any weak links, we've got to execute you. I think his brother as a character, yes, he saves him, but I think his brother still holds those archaic old Predator Yautja ideology beliefs to his heart.
Kind of, though. He broke away from them pretty quick.
He it's a yes and no. Like, I don't think he was breaking away. Like, he wasn't choosing to save his brother because his brother was weak. He was choosing to give his brother the right to hunt. And if he failed that hunt, then yes, he doesn't come back, he dies, that's that. But like every predator deserves to have that opportunity to hunt. And so his father was saying, you don't even get that chance, we're just going to kill you. And the brother's like, well, no, you get a chance to hunt. And I think that's where, it's a difference between him and the father, but I think it's also still a difference between him and his and Deck. So I think while there are similarities, they're still very, very different. But either way, like he ends up dying, self-sacrificing to save Deck. That whole scene was it was awesome. It was really, really cool. And I like how Deck is basically, it's him trying to do the first hunt, then he qualifies for his cloak, which I really like. I like how he's wearing like a actual fabric cloak to kind of symbolize like he wants to get that actual like cloaking device thing. And it's just, for me, it's a callback to AVP when you got the 3 predators go to the Arctic to get their plasma casters. Like, it's all about okay, doing these hunts to get upgraded technology for their hunts, and I really, really like that. That's one of the things too when you play the Alien vs. Predator 2010 video game. It's about you're going on these hunts and you're
How
getting
come
new
that's
technology.
never gone into the extra live stream? I didn't even know that existed.
It should. So there's definitely a really, really cool foundation there where they get new technology by doing hunts, and I think everything that started off here worked really, really well. Like the CGI, I feel like it phased in and out. There's definitely some spots that could be improved. The father at the end, when his helmet came off, absolutely his face could be improved. But there were some shots, I don't know what it was, but they just look so good. Like Deck's face and the way it was moving and talking is like, man, this looks absolutely quality. But then other times, yeah, the CGI was very noticeable. But I can give it a pass because they were really trying to do something different and make them actually talk more. And it's so weird when you have all of this dialogue.
$105 million. I didn't know it was that much. That seems like a lot for. I don't know if it's a lot for when we looked up some of the box office for the past prior one. So I'll be interested to see how that goes. But yeah, I will say, we didn't say that in non-spoilers, but I definitely think the CGI is good for the most part. But I think even at times, like our main Deck Predator, like he has moments where it's like, oh, that doesn't look. And it's tough because even Trachtenberg talked about that, the challenges of trying to make because he's the main character, make him more expressive, right? Because other than and animation's a lot easier, but the live action stuff, they're not that like they are expressive, but they kind of have like their 5, 6 emotions, right? Of even if that. So that's the problem where I understand they're trying to make it at times feel a little lighthearted, some caring, some different like even the moments when the brother gets taken out. And I thought, yeah, this was a great set where the training's good. I like this. Obviously, that's what we're talking about, non-spoilers. It was fun to joke around for a bit, but guess what? It played into why he was a smaller predator, right? He was the runt of the litter, and that's why they didn't feel like they, just the father, but they kind of insinuate other predators feel the same way as far as, what, it's not even worth the time to try and train you because you're probably just going to fail. And if you're weak, then the clan's weak. So let's just move forward. So I liked that. And I thought, okay, where we're going to go. And that's where I loved the opening because they just went through it, went for it, where you're right. Technically, you could say the brother is on the old spectrum of like we gotta follow these rules, and you could kind of say yeah the dad is a new spectrum where yeah instead of giving the hunt we're just gonna cut loose. But I was very surprised at the whole opening where okay I kind of I thought he's gonna hit his brother, like he gets his brother in whatever that trap is. The dad puts a deck in that trap and it looks like he tells him to kill him. And I knew the whole build up of, okay, he's lifting the sword, he's going to hit the machine, and then he's getting in the ship. And I thought that'd be it, right? But when he just executes Deck's brother right in front of him, just maliciously, it was like, oh my God. And that's where, again, like that's a good thing and a bad thing for this movie because it never got to that height again. And also just because that opening was so dark and so depressing, I thought, man, it was going to be similar to Prey, or if not worse, of just like this is going to be a really serious movie. And it once we met Elle Fanning, it definitely took a turn, and it was not a serious movie because if people are listening along or watching along and didn't watch the movie, it's not exactly like this, but I'd say they kind of made Elle Fanning's android like it childlike almost, and
Yeah.
like the way she's talking and just joking around. That's why I said even though she's a grown woman, it does kind of have that aspect of a hero with a kid that's like, what did you do this? Why do you why do you bleed like that? What happened to your brother? Like it's all if this was a kid android, it would play the exact same way. But that opening, this scene, I don't know if it'd make it Golden Geeks, but this is one I would talk about for that, the opening, because yeah, just the execution of the brother. He's behind the glass and he can't get to him. It's just like, oh my goodness, this was good stuff. I wish the film and then and the third when he returns back, it kind of has that energy again too. I wish the fight was maybe like a little longer. It felt like the dad was a little too easy to beat with the build up, and he had all the armor and everything. I would have given that like 2 to 3 more minutes of just some more brutality with that fight, and especially being the revenge thing. But yeah, I just think for me, I would have preferred if the whole movie was kind of like The Gray, a full like revenge tale, and he's building his way back up. And it is that, but I mean like in the tone of revenge thrillers aren't usually like trying to get the yucks out of you, and I think that kind of took away. But opening nonetheless is fantastic. No notes there. Even some CGI is looking a little rough. That's okay because the quality here was great. And yeah, shout out to that brother who just gave himself up. And that's another reason why I wanted the fight with the dad to go longer, because he just dispatched the brother, who at this point the brother was better than Deck, right? So it just feels like, and I guess we don't know how much time had passed. I know we're jumping to the very end here, but when they get to the glass skill, that's what it was, right? The gas skill, or what the hell was it?
Genna.
Was it what?
The planet you're talking about?
No, I'm talking about the animal he was trying to kill, the unkillable
Oh,
beast. That was a gas skill, right, or
what
something
was
like
it?
that.
It was
Caskill.
Castile, I think.
Castile. But either way, so like, and that's another twist and that's one thing I didn't say non-spoilers, should have said. I feel like once you get introduced to all the characters, the storylines, like the other Elle Fanning turning, this thing being the child of the beast, like all like the beast, the big beast, like dying right after he accepts the predator. It feels like you've seen this like many times over. This is just like reskin the predator stuff. But that's why I was trying to think, how much time do you think has passed since the ending of the movie until when he goes to fight his dad? Because that thing is big now, that creature, or it was just a baby at the end.
Yeah, so they could have spent a little bit more time on the planet, maybe like getting resources. She obviously got a bit more repaired too.
Solar
Fanning's
Sisters
character,
outfit.
so yeah, Solar Sisters outfit. The big kicker here is, and you're right, like Deck was not as adept and capable as his older brother. But the interesting thing here, because yes, the dad did beat the brother, but the dad relied on the technology, and I think this has always been every predator's downfall, is they're over reliant on technology, right? And that's when they get outsmarted. We see it in Killers, like when the guy cuts his plane engines, and then the predator ship can't see because he's blind. The engines cool down, and you just see Arnold Schwarzenegger putting mud on his body. Like the predators are overconfident and they're way too reliant. And so when you see the dad just putting the cloak on and just going to town, like he only won because he had the cloak. It does not make him better than the older son.
That's
So
true. Did the older
what
son
is
not have a cloak though?
he didn't. Maybe he didn't have it yet. I don't know, but he didn't activate it.
He should have.
So
If he did
the
have it, he should have
he should have
done
used
that.
it. Yeah, and that's one of the things I love about the ending when Deck comes back and he doesn't rely on the cloak because he doesn't have it, but he knows how to one up and over smart, his father, and his father is just relying on the technology. And that's the same thing too that made Deck, even though it was a short period of time that he was on the planet Jenna for, he was still able to, not about being the biggest or the strongest in that regard, but being the most smart. So he knew to use the ship's engines to create a sandstorm so he could see where his dad was in the cloak. And he knew how to use just all the other tools, right? Like he became like an Arnold Schwarzenegger, and that's what I
That
really
was cool. I
liked.
loved his blades that were like the razor sharp, because like literally the grass is. They say, "Oh, it's razor sharp." Then when you look at the grass, it's literally like razors. So I liked all that. I could have even used a little more things because I thought what he was going to use, and I guess I'll push back a little bit. This dad, though, he's still like the leader of this clan, you'd say, right? Whatever's happening there, because
Hmm.
they're all full. So that's where it's like you're right with the cloak, but at the same time, like, is he just cloaking everybody? Like, I have to kind of think that he has to be like the top of the food chain some ways. That's where the cloak I do understand, but I just wish that fight went on longer to make him earn it. And I thought like he was going to use maybe the instead of him getting the do you know what that weapon is when they throw it on the ground? It like binds your limbs. Do you know what that is?
It's just that's something new.
Oh, okay, that's something new. Okay, there you go. So I thought his counter for that was he was gonna again from that planet use those needles that paralyze you. That's what I thought he was gonna use
Oh,
to
that
get
would
the
have been
dad.
good.
Yeah, so I just wish like when he got out the razor blades, I'm like, oh, that's really cool. I wish he used a few more weapons from his journey there. I did like the whatever big beast thing biting his head off. That worked, and now he has a cool little unit. He's got this whatever gas skill or whatever it's called, and then a Wayland Yutani android with them. So it's like a cool like unit. And did you like the tag where it ends and then like literally seconds after this army's coming and
Oh,
she
my
asks,
dad was fucking cracking up at that. Like, and the theater laughed too because, yes, it made me chuckle because we've never seen female predators before, but and the stuff that I was reading, it was just always said that female ones are a lot more fucking nastier and meaner than the
have we met
males.
many
I haven't met
females?
any females.
Even in Predator Killers there wasn't.
I don't think so. Not that I remember.
Really, that's fascinating. If we've never met any, like even in comics you've read, like with no females or anything like that.
I haven't read a lot of Predator comics or many Predator books, so
Wow.
there's a high
Okay.
chance there is.
Yeah, so I think that's like a fun enough tag. We'll have to see what happens down the line there and see. Obviously, I don't think that really ties into AVP. I think that would tie into something else. I heard, and I didn't see it. I heard someone say you see like the xenomorph for 2 seconds. I missed that. Did you see that?
Um, they must be talking about when they were at the Weyland Yutani encampment and they have all the different crates of different aliens. I wouldn't put it past them to maybe
Okay.
sneak in an Easter egg, but I don't think so. I don't think that those things are on this planet.
Okay, that's what I heard somewhere. At first, when we are getting that footage, obviously it ended up being like the gas kill, but I thought we were gonna see like when it was just like the from the android's perspective, it was all like computer monitoring. Like, oh, we're gonna see like the outline of it. So we'll have to see. I think it is in there. I just don't know where it would be. So we'll have to see what happens there. But no, I thought it was a fun tag. Like I said, could have used, and that's kind of a big complaint for me with a lot of Hollywood movies that I always want the final battle to just go a little longer. It's supposed to earn it a little bit longer, but I digress. That was fun. Yeah, we started from the beginning to the end on yet to Prime there. But anything else you want to mention about these two locations before we go kind of backwards?
I like that each of the locations really emphasized they really showcase just predators, little
Hmm.
creatures, and the other things like killing them and whatnot. And one of the things I love too, and this is a comedic beat on Jenna, when he's scans this leaf and he sees he can use it, so he starts like rubbing it on his wound, and then he picks up this little slug thing and he sees it starting to like grow and pus, and he throws it, and it's like a fucking hand grenade, which I really got a kick out of, just those different kind of concepts of just how dangerous everything is here. And when
Hmm.
his ship was crashing, and he he's in this big ship, and then he hits like a button and he ejects from it, and he's in this tiny little fucking pod falling like 50,000 feet in the air. I started to laugh because this is a horrible fucking situation to be in. But again, people were freaking out because they released a scene from the movie where it shows him in his pod immediately crashing into the trees and like smacking in the ground, and there's no score, it's all quiet, and it just shows the predator get like look upset like he did in the scene, and then Dex just starts to like get pissed off and smash the ground, and people were complaining
Hmm.
like, oh, this predator's having a sissy fit, da, da, da. But man, people need to chill and
Well,
understand the
yeah,
context, because
it's
now
like the
when you watch
size.
this,
Yeah.
well, when you watch the movie now, it's playing like he's replaying that scene in his head because he just can't cognitively woke up and was aware, oh god, my brother just died, he saved me,
Yeah.
and like I gotta get this fucking kill, I gotta get this hunt to honor him. Like, so yes, there's more emotion there, and yeah, he is a young predator, so yeah, I like that he went to this planet.
Yeah. No, no, I thought it was good that he was still going to do that. And what I liked about it too was he said, like, I'm going to get this kill, prove that I'm worthy of clan, then I'm going to get my revenge. So his plan was always to just show off that he could kill this thing and then still try to kill his dad. That's what I liked. It wasn't like, oh, well, I need to, my brother died for me and I got to find a way to impress my dad, like a really, like, kind of warped religion clan mentality. I like that he decided, like, no, I'm gonna, when I get back, I'm gonna kill my dad. Like it wasn't anything thought about. And that's one thing I will say too, because at first when he got back at the end and his dad walked out, which he had very cool armor, his dad walked out, and I was like, man, like this feels very empty for this Yacha Prime. And then luckily they did zoom out, and I think they're all CGI, but at least they showed like other ones. They showed the sword. I was like, okay, good. I was like, why is this guy just alone on this planet? He keeps talking about his clan. I see no clan in
Just
sight
plan of
whatsoever.
one,
Well, yeah. So it's like, and
just keeps
sometimes
killing him.
we've seen that right with like Mando, like Disney Plus stuff, and because obviously Prey was on Hulu, Disney Plus, sometimes I think to keep the budget down, like, oh, we'll keep it smaller. But no, luckily they did zoom out there. But yeah, we get to this planet. He's gonna kill this thing. They say it's an unkillable beast, so he's gonna be looking for it. They finds it pretty fast because he gets the help of Elle Fanning. Where at first he's not. Which one was she? Was she Tess?
Yeah,
Right?
she
Or
was Thea.
she was
The
Thea?
sister, the evil sister, was
Test, yeah,
Tessa.
which is funny. It got flashbacks. I remember this around Acolyte time. You were telling me about the Predator forums being like, oh, they're playing twin sisters and everything like that, and the fans were worried because Acolyte just happened. And it's funny because they're not twin sisters; they're just androids in two roles here. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, he uses her because she says she can be a tool. So at least the Predator, tells himself like, okay, it's a tool. It's not a person. It's not a cheat. If I get this, and yeah, they kind of go on a bunch of adventures here. And yeah, like I said, I think a lot of her humor, I don't think she did bad at all. I think she was great. I just didn't enjoy a lot of the humor, or just not even enjoy. It just didn't work for me. Like I said, it wasn't bad jokes. At least it wasn't jokes where it was like, this is. I think the one at the end that I did not like was the beast baby when he killed Thea and he like ripped out the spine. And I was like, oh, it's like, all right, I get it. It reminds me of Andy and Romulus when he's like, "Stay away from her, bitch." I'm like, okay, I get it. We're doing a very like we're winking and nodding to what they do, but and that thing too. I guess like at the end, it's fun that okay, the Predator has this like gas gill beast that's with them, but I didn't need this like little alien around the whole time and like stealing a sword and being like a baby. Like it was just. I don't know. It felt like those aspects. I didn't mind the Predator having more emotions. It just felt like they were putting the Predator in very jokey situations, which it didn't hurt it for me. I think there's just too much of it for me.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
especially in this, I think the portion from when I think got better once Tess revealed what she was really doing, but from the portion of when they met and the campfire, I feel like there's a lot of jokes that they could have maybe spread throughout or maybe cut a few. So
Yeah, yeah, I can see that.
yeah. And then we could do that, and then we do get to the point where okay, they get, I can't remember. They find the den for this beast, and some of the Wayland Yutani stuff's there. They're kind of going off. They've sprinkled in that her sister, the other android's there. She's obviously more serious, more evil. They've been given emotion so they can trick people. Pretty much, that's what they've said. And our main one, Tess's plan is to get her legs back, and she lied to the Predator like, "Oh, I'm actually not going to help you kill this beast. Like, we need it, and you just got to get out of here." He does successfully kill the beast, but unfortunate for him, the beast can regen as long as it's got some organisms going on. But that happens, and I will plot it. I didn't want to say this in non-spoilers, but I will plot it. I'll feel like I feel like almost once this attack happens, and then Thea and all the other bad androids show up. Tons of stuff is not on the trailers, and I applaud them for that. It's like the whole third act is not on the trailers, and big kudos. I love that they did that, because when we're getting the beast fight, I was like, oh, I thought this was going to be the end of the movie, like this big, our Predator versus big beast. This would be the climactic battle. But yeah, what do you think about some of the stuff that happened?
I like that they changed it where you expect the predator to be taking on this big beast, and it's not that anymore. So I'm really happy with that. So that worked in a good way. And I like the sisters dynamic where Fanning was playing these two androids. I like how the one was more scientific and the other one was more militant, I guess, leading the operation, communicating with Mother in there too. Again, another alien story beat there.
Yeah.
But a lot of that was really, really working with me. And I'm really okay with them using androids. There were a lot of young kids in my theater, like not super super young, but like middle school age. And I think it's great that they can watch this and enjoy it because there's no swearing, and there doesn't need to be because it's a futuristic sci-fi. Like they're synthetics, they're not going to be swearing, and I think it still has the implications of it being freaky and gory, but just in a much better light, I guess you could say. So I think it was really, really good.
Yeah, which was something I didn't understand. Maybe you can fill me in on when they are. So this happens. We'll talk about some other stuff too. But at one point, the Predator gets out of there and he's using his environment, right? He's using, which I didn't really buy when he bought that like snake thing to get on his shoulder to shoot. I was like, this is way
That
too
was
quick.
so cool. I love that.
For me, it was too quick. That's where I should have said non-spoilers too. I feel like this movie feels like a video game in the best and worst ways. It feels like a video game where you're like getting new friends, getting new weapons, building your way up. Even the action scenes feel like a boss battle. It feels like it was in a cutscene, but then it also feels like you're missing very much. Like, yeah, this thing's just with you now. You found it. Why did he bring those things that paralyze you if they're all androids? I didn't understand that.
So from what I understood, he put the explosive beetles onto them, and then when they would shoot the darts out, the little explosive slug
Okay,
things
that makes
would
sense. I remember
explode.
that. Okay.
So
So okay,
that way,
then you answered that one, and I guess I answered this to myself mid movie, but at first, at one point, I didn't know if the other people, because also we got the two L Fannings. I'm like, okay, those are androids, and then we got all the other guys. So it's like, oh, are these humans? Are they synthetics? At one point, when she was talking to the Predator and he was tied up, and she's like, oh, why are you speaking to him like that? Is it just because they're like army combat ones, they don't speak
Yeah.
other languages? That's kind of silly though, right? Why wouldn't you just program that? Like, I feel like it's just like a computer chip in this world, like a couple of coding and you're done, right?
I think the company is very task oriented, so I can see that. Like, here we got these two that are allotted purely to the science, and then this one is like a grunt. But obviously, even though it was a grunt, it still had the necessity to know, like, oh, we need to figure out how to use this predator tech or whatever. Or maybe the only reason he didn't. And this is where it gets interesting, because the fact that Thea knew and could speak Yautja implies, okay, either she's met a Yautja before and has learned a little bit of the language, or Wayland Yutani has met Yautja before. They've discovered them and they've been reverse engineering their tech.
Probably. I
They've
think
been
that's the easiest
figuring
way
out the
to.
language.
I feel like it's the easiest way to say it. And technically, I don't know if they'd ever do it, but I feel like you could do like an Alien vs Predator movie again and never actually have to say AVP1 or Requiem are non-canon, right?
Yeah.
You just be like, yeah, they're off to the side and stuff, right? So, and that's something that really impressed me too, where you got this scene where, okay, the sisters, they disagree. She wants to save the Yautja tests, and then Thea doesn't because she's just there for science and the experiment. But at the end, when we get all this stuff where, okay, Predator gets out of there, Tess helps him escape. He gets out of there, like we said, gets all his gears, and he's going back to this Wayland Yutani camp. One, just seeing and I know this happens a little bit in AVP, but I feel like with AVP, the things that were tough with that was before like Earth went to shit and all this stuff, right? So it's like they had some tech, but it wasn't that. There, even the tents and some of the designs of the gear and the tech, those looked like just very similar things we just saw in Romulus last year, you know. So that was cool, where Predator's going into this base that's pretty much just a base from Alien, and even to the point of okay, they're doing a bunch of fights, and you're wondering where Thea is, and when she comes up with this gigantic robot, granted, it's much bigger and a grander scale than what Ripley has in Aliens, but it pretty much feels like that, right? It
And
feels
the
like
same sounds too, right?
exactly. So it feels like that. So you literally get Predator fighting, you know, which like I said, if they end up bringing Sigourney back for one of these, I feel like they kind of blew their load here because they could have done that there. But you literally get Predator fighting what Sigourney had in Aliens, just like beefed up a little bit. So I thought the world building and using all the tech stuff, because it made a lot of sense. That wasn't just because I guess like obviously I don't think at any point Dan was probably told like no, you can't do that, but it's just if this was a story, I would love to ask him of okay, did you write the story and just went like, hey, all the alien stuff would work really well here, let's do that, or did he write in mind like I really want to use them? Because when we saw the previews for this, I thought, okay, if he has an android on his back, that's a fun Easter egg to say, oh, it's Wayland Yutani android, right? But this
Hmm.
whole movie is about, it's just like an alien movie where they're there to get this beast. They want the Yacha to experiment. Like, it's classic alien. Like, we just got this alien Earth. It's hitting all those beats. So the third act, as much as it's a Predator movie, is very much an alien movie where it's this big company that wants these things to experiment. And that's where I'd love to ask him of what, like, was it a similar plot and he just went, hey, we could make this thing all alien coded, or did he set out writing it? Because I was surprised, like I said, it wasn't the trailers, and I was surprised by the third act how much alien world building stuff there was, you know?
Yeah, and I think, I mean, it just goes hand in hand with the Wayland Yutani Corporation, right? Like the whole building better worlds thing. No, we want to get that specimen, and then we can reverse engineer it and just see
Yeah.
how it can better humanity, just like with the xenomorph. But you're right, there was just a lot of things going on that were heavily implied and, connected to the overall xenomorph universe, which again I like. I'm totally cool with that because I'm excited to see what can happen out of that. I was telling my dad that when the movie had ended, I was just like pointing out like how Whale Utani is, from Alien, all these different connections and whatnot, and just just the sound effects too, just pulling you right out of the Alien verse.
Yeah. Well, and that's the other thing, too. I feel now, I could be wrong, but I feel like there's like a sense of they might, because this whole thing went to crap, right? Everything's gone. They didn't get anything they wanted. I feel like they might use this movie. Like I feel like it's a given that the Yacha fucking up this base might put the predator species higher up on the list now, whether it is to experiment on or to take out because it like messed up one of the things. So I just could see some of the ramifications of what Deck and Tess did here playing out down the line, because now that like this is, I don't know, millions, maybe billions of dollars of tech, people, everything gone now, and it's like they're not just gonna forget about that, right? Look at
No.
Alien 1 to 3; they were obsessed with just getting this like fucking one type of alien Xeno. Even though in Alien Earth, it's like, oh, look at all the stuff they had. It's like, no, they really want this one Xeno, right? So, yeah, I think it'll play into. But yeah, how did you feel about the dynamic of having the two synthetics? You had Tess, who was more the friendlier one, like I said, more jovial, and then you had Thea, who was very cold, did care about her sister up until she realized, she even related to the story of, Deck, where it's like, oh, him trying to protect his brother cost him his life in the mission. I can't let that happen to me, so you're gonna have to be boxed up. So how do you think about your dynamic?
Yeah, like I liked it. I thought it was fitting, and I like that Tessa almost got swayed over too by Thea when she's talking about being sisters and whatnot. But it's hard to override programming, right? And this is where I probably had a little bit of an issue, especially in comparison with Deck, because I think it was fine when Deck being humanized. I feel like okay, Thea was maybe humanized a little too much, but again, they say, oh, it's just the human emotions component, right, to this
Hmm.
this android. So they definitely cover their ass a little bit with it, but yeah, I'd say Yeah, like it's entertaining and it's
What do you
engaging to
say?
have like the two sides of the coin for this character, and it really reflects how capable Fanning is too, just by diving into this a role like this. And yeah, it was cool to see her just be all like melted and villainized like Terminator style with a plasma caster just like kind of fused to her shoulder. That was pretty
Yeah.
sweet.
I feel like she could have been even a little more melted because clearly she was melted from the ass of the stomach beast. And to me, that made sense of okay, she freezes it from the inside, gets into pieces. It makes sense that maybe you just need like a beating heart for this thing to heal up and stuff. Because I was like, okay, how are you going to beat this thing? But
Yeah.
I saw that coming. It just was too quick, too happy. I did like the Predator got his moment and had like his head bob with the big thing and was, they that was his clan member and everything. And, but yeah, good moment where she's all mixed up. And that was a joke where, oh, or just a moment that just felt too Hollywood for me. I know it's a Hollywood movie, but I can't remember what Thea says, but she says something about them being sisters. And then, of course, Tess is like, we were never sisters. And then Predator hits her. And then, like I said, the spine rip moment just felt too, I don't know, just not my cup of tea there. Just a few moments of why are they kind of taunting around? But I digress.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Is there anything else that we haven't covered upon or touched on yet?
Oh my goodness. No, I highlighted about my conversation with my dad, where just the young predator and ideology can change and morph, and that's
Mhm.
why he's open to not hunting alone, having a clan of his own, all that kind of stuff. But I can't think of anything else.
What do you think the mother's reaction is to all this? Do you think she accepts him?
Well, I would imagine that after he killed the father, he would take over the mantle that he had. But
You'd have to think, yeah.
when Thea is like, "Oh, friends of yours," and it's like, "Nope." It's like, "Oh, who is it?" It's my mother. So yeah, I think there's going to be consequences for him.
Hmm.
Or it'll be interesting because maybe the mother doesn't know that his brother died, right? And maybe that's why she was
I
coming
think
here.
has to be. There has to. Well, I guess we don't know where she's from. We just don't know the time period. Just because that thing got so big, I feel like there has to be even a month, maybe. So yeah. Yeah, I'll go first. Yeah, no, I have nothing more to add. I think I'm trying to think on the film. Yeah, no, like I said, some fun action sequence. The razor sharp, them trying to get through the tree, that was fun. Him versus the actual cast kill again. Same thing. That went a little shorter, but that there was some fun moments of using different Utani equipment to try to
Hmm.
trap him, outsmart him, chopping down trees. So that was some good stuff there. I will say, and that's a good thing about they were smart to use the androids because you could get away with not only the alien blood but no people blood just getting beat up there. I will say that much like him, Dan, making the Yaksha like the main antagonist or the main protagonist and following him, I'm sure we've seen this before, but I can't remember the last time. So I feel like he's always good at trying to do something original in these movies. He did that with Prey and Killers. The sequence of Tessa's legs taking down people and just fighting, I think that was very fun. Where it's just a set of legs just kicking ass, and they're finding different ways to kill. And then when she teams up with Tess, so I think the leg sequence was really good. But yeah, I will give this a 7 out of 10. So like I said, enjoyed the movie, had a good time with it. Was a little disappointed in some aspects. I did not like it as much as Prey. I do think there's some big high highs, but I do think the script and some of the pacing and just some of the overabundance of humor this go around just didn't work out. Maybe they are trying, like we said, to humanize him a little bit because I do think the plan is if we get a new AVP or whatever, you'll follow Deck and he can kind of be like the good Predator, right? He'll fight against the Predators and he'll go against them because he killed 2 Predators and his dad, so he's all ready to go. So, but yeah, that's where I am. A 7 out of 10 on this one. Taylorfield, where are you?
Oh, 7 out of 10 is a respectable pick. I think I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go a 9 out of 10. I'm gonna go very high with it. I was thinking
What's your
like 8,
holdback?
8.5. My holdback is they should have just worked on the CGI a little bit more. Specifically just when the father's helmet comes off and you just see his face. It's like, oh, this is some brutal CGI. Like I said earlier, some shots are really, really nice. They got that mint down pat, but other shots, no, it's a work in progress, and they need to
Hmm.
figure that out. So that's my only con really with it. That aside, The story is fun. It's engaging. You can really connect with what's happening, and yeah, all in all, it was a really, really good time. I went in smiling and I left smiling. I was really, really satisfied with it. And you highlighted how some of the jokes, the comedy, it's definitely picks up a lot more with Fanning, and I enjoyed it. I really did, and I think for the most part, my whole theater was laughing and keeping up with it. So it wasn't like there was any dry spells or dry moments or anything like that, which is good. So um, yeah, no, I think they just created something very, very bold and interesting. And I think that this is where things are going to tie up with Dan's narrative here. When you have, God, could you imagine Arnold Schwarzenegger, Glover, and
I
Dak
don't think
all being on the
Glover.
same team? But he
I
was in
don't
that
think.
end credit scene, right? For Killer
Yeah, I just
Killers.
think Glover's a bit. He could be in it. I think he's just a bit older. I think you're also forgetting Amber Mid Thunder as
Naru.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think she would be there as well. I feel like the go to, and I know we pitched this on news, but the go to is Arnold, her. You can get Dak, you can get Elle Fanning, and then I still think there's a way they should find to get Sigourney Weaver, and there's your little Avengers. But I think there is a very fun aspect of Arnold with his history having to team up with a predator. I think there's
Mm.
some good juice you could do there, and I think they showed in this movie that they would kind of lead a bit more comedic at some time, so that could kind of work out there. But yeah, we'll have to see what happens. Find some Xenos or the mother of the predators, who knows? So yeah, I'm sure we'll talk about this again on whether it's a GV or Weekly Geek or some Golden Geeks. Because we'll have to wait and see what Dylan and Kirkland feel about this later on down the line. So yeah, we'll discover, or we'll discuss. Yeah, we'll discover what they feel and discuss about again. Let us know in the comments. Discord, Twitter, YouTube, wherever you prefer. Any questions, comments, or anything we might have missed that we could discuss in the future, but we hope you enjoyed this review. Hope you enjoyed the movie, and I promise when you hear from us next, which will be Extra Life in a couple days, it'll not be boring.